So, all right. So welcome everybody to Friday night at 8 o'clock. I'm like, okay, we don't have much of a life, do we?
Yeah, 9 people with nothing better to do. Yeah, okay.
I'm like, well, there wasn't a time that everybody could do tomorrow. So I just said, we'll do it Friday, get it over with. That way you got the whole weekend to yourself. You know, you can do whatever you want to do. So thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for accepting the responsibility, as well as thank you for joining our team. This, we're going to be the Michigan educators, whatever, Michigan Kiwanis educators, whatever you want to call us. Before I go into the PowerPoint, I'm just going to ask everybody to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves. So I'm going to go with Larry because he's in is that Bobby that was up in the corner? And then when you go, okay, so Greg, you're in the middle of the Brady Bunch group.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
No, Emily's in the middle.
You're always in the middle of something.
All right, so Larry.
Yeah, well, Greg is a Brady Bunch person, so.
Yeah. Larry Memmer, our past governor. I've been working on some educations with Sue. Big forte is education, or as membership, and you'll be hearing a lot more about membership. I just responded today to International about some things that they're looking at Michigan for membership to finish out the year.
All right, Bruce. And Larry, what club are you from? I'm sorry, Larry, what club are you from?
Chelsea.
All right. Go ahead, Bruce.
Bruce Race from Kawasi, Kiwanis, and Midland. 2 times lieutenant governor, past president, currently president of the foundation. Worked with Larry and Cindy and others the last year. I guess I did 2 or 3 booths, and I was the club opener on 3 clubs last year. So I don't know what my forte is, but I enjoy working with people.
Perfect. Fran.
Fran Babbage, Lieutenant Governor-elect, and we've been working on training all our lieutenant governors. We've been doing a Sunday and a Wednesday meeting at 8 o'clock. My friends say they don't even want to try calling me at 8 anymore because I'm always on Zoom.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg Smith. I belong to the Utica Shelby Club and the South Oakland County Club. And part of the reason I'm here is I think education is something we all need to do to be able to learn stuff.
Emily.
Amen.
My name's Emily Bagwell. I am in the Livonia Early Risers Kiwanis Club. I will be ending my 2-year term as president, so I'm excited to not have to be our club president anymore. And I was formerly a Circle K member.
Haley.
My name's Haley Thompson. I started with Kiwanis and Builders Club and Keith Club. And then I joined the Manchester Club, and I held some different positions. I was president. That club recently dissolved, and now I'm part of the Chelsea Club with Larry, and I also held some district positions.
All right. Linda.
Hey, everybody. It's good to see you. I'm jack of all trades. Do whatever you need me to do. Member of the Belleville Club and the Ypsilanti Club, and a past governor, lots of other things. Ready to help educate with all of you.
And Sue Devon.
Hi, I am a member of the Lansing Club and the Island City Club. I'm just in my 2nd year as Lieutenant Governor for Division 16, and I've spent a number of years as the Action Club Administrator for the Michigan District. And last year I worked a lot with Larry doing membership.
All right, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm Sue. I'm handling education for Michigan, for lieutenant governors, for our CLEs, and for district convention. I'm a member of the East Lansing and the Grand Ledge Club, so I'm rather busy with them right now. And I had 3 phone calls today, actually meetings with Kiwanis International staff, because I'm working on 3 different projects for them. So, you know, I have nothing else to do. So,
What are you going to do once you get back to real work?
I don't
Yeah.
expect I'm going to go back to my office probably till September.
Oh, okay.
So even though the so-called lift is going to happen, having a president who's an infectious disease actor, and it's been made very clear that we are not to go back to the office until he gives us the okay.
Mhm.
And we're probably one of the last teams that'll go back, because when Sparty's not traveling, you
Yeah.
can't do a whole lot.
I'm
So,
surprised the MSU said they were going to start the kids in college in fall, that they
Yeah.
already said that they're going to do that.
most of the schools are at this point.
Are they?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to just share my screen with you. I put together a quick PowerPoint just to kind of give you an update of where we are and what's going on. And where we are going to do a few polls along the way. I do want there are going to be times when we're going to be talking back and forth, so I'm going to leave everybody unmuted. And since we have fewer people than we normally have on Sundays and Thursdays, we shouldn't have any problems. So this is our current team. Jen is going to take a step back for a little bit right now. She's trying to get some other things done. And Bruce has also told us that he's very active right now in Midland with all the flooding and stuff that's going on there. So he may not be able to jump in right away, but will be working with membership. So we had a good group here. This was kind of a hand-picked group in a sense. Where we want to find people that, can help us move education along and try some new things, and knowing where we are today and what's going on, that's something we got to do. So to kind of give you an update on what's going on, Kiwanis International is going to host high-level club leadership education sessions. And that's why this group is together to begin with, is that we need to work on club leadership education. So starting on Monday, there will be club leadership education sessions for presidents, secretaries, treasurers, and membership chairs. And they're going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, they will do a repeat of those sessions. Clubs who submitted election reports by June 1st received an invitation to attend. Greg also sent the email to all the clubs, so they have the information. And I also sent you at 7:37 tonight, sent you all that same email. And we would love if you could step in on one of the sessions. There's some sessions in the morning and there's some sessions at night. You don't need to go into the whole thing. They're about an hour and 15 minutes long, but if you could just pop in and see what they're going over, just to give you an idea of what's happening. My goal is that I'm going to try to hit all 4 sessions or one of each session. And so the sessions will be held next week for those who registered, and they have plenty of space in each session, so there's no problems with people adding in. They are going to record all of the sessions, and then they'll take the best of each one, president, secretary, treasurer, and post them on the Kiwanis website.
Sue,
Yes.
if we're going to watch one of those, do we need to register for it?
Yes.
Okay.
So you do need to register, and that's why in the email there's a registration link for each office. And if I remember correctly, you go in and register for whichever session you want at that time, and it only asks you for your name and your district.
Okay, thank you.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're not in that position as far as being,
No.
identifying yourself.
And
No.
then they send you an email back. You get it, because I registered for all 4 of them, and I got 4 different emails back to say
Okay.
I've been registered.
Good, thank you.
So they recommend we try to attend part of each one of them. I'm going to be on a few of them. The way the sessions are going to run is Meredith Taylor from Kiwanis International is going to do the session, and then she will go about 75 minutes, and then the next 15 or 20 minutes, they've asked some of the leadership development coordinators like me to stay on and answer other questions for people while she starts another session up. They expect that a lot of the questions will come that will be district specific, because Meredith's plan is that this will be very high level, and they're not going to get into all the details that we may at a district level. They are going to post the club leadership manual will be live as they're speaking to it, so they can refer to it. And in Michigan, all of the manuals were sent to all the clubs. So every club received 5 copies of the book. So they were sent to the club secretaries. I think it's been 2 weeks now, Greg?
Yeah, 2 weeks. There's one that doesn't have it. It came back with a bad address. We're still checking on.
Okay.
But
Okay.
everybody should have one.
Our club, when we went to do that thing, she handed us all our leadership training, our books.
And the book is online. You can go to the Kiwanis website. It is there. Did we have extra books, Greg?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we could if you would like one of them, just put it in the chat that you want a book with your address and we'll mail it to you. Okay, so
Did the lieutenant governors elects get one?
I don't think so.
No, because we didn't. We did all the clubs. We had mailing for the clubs.
Right, we did well because the original intent was that they would be distributed at the CLEs if we held them in person. So we'll have to get them to the lieutenant governors as well, or the lieutenant governor elect.
So in other words, if a lieutenant or lieutenant governor elect was not a officer in a club, they would not have normally received one.
At this
Yeah,
point,
it's up to the club to hand out the 5 books. So
Right.
I mean, we probably have enough books that every lieutenant governor elect can get one, but then we wouldn't have any others for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Right. And it is online, so they can, if someone were to come to me and say, hey, I really need to have it online, I have a copy, I would print them off a copy.
Okay.
But it's right there. So if you just put, your name and address in there, and we'll send you one. So club leadership education in Michigan, because of the fact that CLEs have been canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, we have moved everything virtual. And for those of you that don't know, Lieutenant Governor training started virtual. We've done 19 sessions already, so 10 weeks on Wednesday night and Sunday night, and have had we've had great participation by our Lieutenant Governor elects and other members of the district. So we have been asked to what the attendees will be told at the training next week is that their district will hold a district specific session. So that's why you guys are all on this call tonight, because we're going to ask you to help us do those. So they will host district specific sessions at a time and date to be determined. And I have a poll for you to do. So let me get to the right poll here. I've picked out 3 weeks, June 22nd to the 27th, June 30th to July 4th, and July 6th to the 11th. So if you would select the dates that you would be available to do it. So you can select one or all 3.
I'll look at my calendar. I don't see.
That's why, yeah.
I probably.
Yes.
Is there a particular reason why these are earlier than we had our original CLE scheduled?
The only reason I put them earlier is because I'm thinking if Michigan starts opening up, people aren't going to be around.
Got it. Okay.
And I wonder if Michigan starts opening up, are we going to have that July 4th one going to be a problem?
Well, I just threw that in there as a date.
Because if we had a choice, I think
That's
I'd rather go with the earlier one.
Well, that's a whole week. That's why. So we could do them during dates on that time.
Okay. Because they always go earlier,
right.
People hit out early and all that stuff.
And the other thing that I thought was if we do them earlier, then we can post them so people can look at them.
Yeah.
At a later time.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve anything.
So.
I guess I should say submit. I'm looking at it and I didn't put submit.
You have to say submit.
Yeah, yes, you have to put submit. Might help. I'm looking at the dates and saying, okay.
Maybe I'm jumping ahead, but speaking of these dates, it's pretty close to when KI's doing. Is one of the requirements for them to do ours is they have had to have done KI's first?
So KI is not going to track theirs. They're going to send them to us. so that we know who has been attended, because we're going to be responsible for keeping track of that. The goal would be that they attended a Kiwanis International session first. So if they take their sessions next week,
Then we could go.
then they could take ours. You know, my thing would be that I would strongly encourage, and that's one of the questions I have later, is I strongly encourage them to take the Michigan or the district or the Kiwanis International one first. But if someone gets on ours first and then goes, we will just highly recommend they do it, because I can still get the tracking information to find out who's gone to each of the sessions. But,
Sue, will ours be primarily in the evening?
we don't know that. That's a question we'll talk about later.
Okay.
All right, so I'm thinking the only person that may not have voted was
She knows.
Sue, because I think Sue's.
I think I voted.
Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, it's probably.
I think
Okay.
I'm finally in, and
All right.
here I am. I'm off the phone.
My internet is so bad. Like I missed that whole part. I think it like logged me out when you guys are talking about
Oh,
it.
okay. All right. All right. So we'll just come back. We'll come back. So the plan is that we'll hold district-specific sessions, and then we'll record them for future use throughout. You know, so people can come back and look at them specifically. The sessions will be held on the Zoom platform. I know that several of us have Zoom platforms, and using Zoom, we can do breakout rooms. And one of the advantages to that is that we can hold, like when we hold our live sessions, we can do a general opening and talk about basic stuff, and then break out into rooms, and then come back together based on however long we want to set those sessions up. Participants will need to register so that we can put them in the room. So we're going to ask them what their role is, whether they're a secretary, you know, treasurer, president, membership chair, or other. We will ask them that. So when it comes time to break up in the rooms, we can do that. The one thing that Zoom provides us is we can go in and find out who attended the session and how much time they were online. So the plan is that, you know, if I jump on and I'm on for 2 minutes, then I don't get credit. I need to be there for, you know, the session. And we can, all that stuff is available through the reports that Zoom has. Is there, who has, I'm going to stop the share really quickly, share. Who has Zoom at that can do breakout rooms? Does anybody, is that part of the paid session or just?
I think I can, because I have the, whatever, the paid session. I think I can.
Too, but I've never tried it. So.
Okay.
I have also, Sue.
Okay, so that gives us several people that can do that. Okay, it works really well. And the one thing that I have, because I'm using, you know, the stuff I get issued through the university, is I can actually put up to 200 people in a room, in a session.
Wow.
And I was on a call today, there were 150 people and we had 20 breakout rooms of 10 people each. So, and it works, they hit a button and say, send people to their room. It takes everybody and throws them in their rooms. They do their work, and then you send a note and say you got 30 seconds left, and it bounces you back. So we'd have to
have learned Zoom.
Yeah, I really have. So
Yeah, cool part is the facilitator can bounce from room to room too and check on what everybody's doing.
Correct. So there's a lot of really cool things with it. So okay, let me go back to sharing my screen.
What?
Okay, so so attendance at sessions, as I explained, Kiwanis International is they're asking us to track the attendance of those, and they want the individuals to attend the Michigan district specific sessions to get the credit for their distinguished club requirements. I have to be honest with you, I don't know what the distinguished club requirements are for next year.
Well, that'd be Fran.
Is it going to come into my year, or is it the
No.
one that's the president right now?
It's your year.
No, it's your year.
So the one.
The requirements for this, for the requirements for points for this year is attending this year's CLE.
Okay.
So it's the one.
It's the one, yeah, they get points for this year. So it'd be, let me look up Sarah's criteria.
Because I thought it was in Sarah's, if they had to.
Right, but it's your officers.
Right.
Yeah, it's my officers, but
But
it's their, it's Sarah's.
It's this year's Distinguished Club.
Right.
So let me check real quick.
Yeah, but for next year, it's yours, Fran.
But that's the following year. When mine will be, they need to train for 2021. They got to go into the
No,
training.
No,
Larry, the C,
What's it say in there?
I don't think so.
Go hunting it. I'm not in my den. I look for it.
the requirement would be for,
the CLE that takes place this year is for this year's Distinguished Award, regardless of who the participants are. For what year, so.
So it's in Sarah's year then. It's her words.
Right. So we would still have to
Right.
track it.
Because you can't, well, I'm getting into the weeds here, but you can't say, all right, we're going to give points for this year's CLE toward next year's award when we haven't determined the criteria for next year's award yet.
Right.
That makes sense.
it's a year behind myself, the way it's structured.
It is, it does
It
seem
is.
strange, but it is. But I remember checking that once, and it is the people that are taking it now are getting points towards Sarah's distinguished award.
Keep going,
Okay.
I'll answer when I get it out. Keep going.
Yep. I think I just shut down my PowerPoint.
Yeah, you did. Hey, at least you didn't shut us off.
No, hey,
Yeah.
that's good. Let me see if I can pull it up here and then I can just go from there. That was the big question.
You get up to 6 points, two per person times 3 people. Because we didn't have the membership.
Yeah, we never had the membership before. So,
Well, but although if a club member attends CLE, it's not an officer, you get 4 points for that versus 2 points. I'm sorry, you get a point. You get a point. Okay, each officer that attends CLE gets two points for up to 6 points, so 3 people. If a club member that's not an officer attends, it's 1 point per member up to 4 members.
Okay.
So,
okay.
All right. Okay, so that answers that. So the next thing I want to talk about is, and I will shut the screen down, but I want to talk about I want to keep these to like 75 minutes. Because I don't know, and that's my thinking is 75 minutes to maybe to an hour and a half. Because I know that people aren't going to sit on them, right, super long. So these are 3 of the items that I had for topics. So I'm going to shut this down, but I want us to talk about what we believe the topics should be. So first would be Fran's goals. What should we cover? So this is
Membership.
Of course, Larry.
That won't go away.
so membership in what regard?
Are we having a whole session on membership?
Well, that's the question. Do we want a session on this, on membership for this? We've always talked about it, but I don't know that we've made it a whole session.
Right, we've never dedicated a whole session. The
Right.
plan is that we will set up, I will be setting up a meeting with all the individuals that I had set up for district convention workshops now that those are, that's also changed. So I will get with those people to set those things up.
let me ask. Okay, so you're talking about what's in the breakout rooms, or what's the content within each breakout room?
So what's in the content of the whole program? What do we want to do for like an intro? What should we include? And then should the sessions be broke out by officers, or should the sessions be broke out by topics? So they're going to get individualized training from Kiwanis International about their office.
And in the past, we've broken out presidents, secretaries,
Right.
treasurers.
But since they're going to have, what I'm looking at is since they're going to get 90 minutes, 75 minutes of very dedicated to their position from Kiwanis, do we want to break out by subject matter, or do we want to break,
I would
be?
say, because you said we can have everyone together then break off, so
Right.
maybe either start out breaking off, then come back and have something for all officers, because I think overall the district has content and topics and goals to share
Not
with all
goals, yeah.
officers. And sometimes you may have a secretary who doesn't share all the info with the club, or a president who, so I think involving all the officers and the membership, people who attend as well, can just kind of make the club in general more informed if someone were to later not, and just get everyone on the same page of things that maybe Larry or Fran or Linda from their experience in being governor feel like a lot of clubs don't know about this. And now you might have 2 or 3 people from the club that come. So I don't think it matters which order to do it, but either first getting everyone together, like intro and go through goals and topics, things, maybe ask people what they want to learn from it or something like that, or have them submit in advance, and then like what they hope to gain from it, and then breaking off where you can say, okay, as secretary, this is how you fill out the form due on the 10th of the month. Although that might be covered in the Kiwanis International one, but still, just my home, because a lot of clubs don't on time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
Emily, you're hitting on a lot of really good stuff, and the breaking out for some of the Michigan specific reporting and details may be an important piece of it. Question, Sue, is there any reason that we can't set ours up to where they break out twice?
No, we can break out as many times as we want.
So in that regards, we could start out together. We could break out to do some specific position instruction, come back together, and then maybe do a choice of breakouts. So if they're wanting to learn some things along the line of club boosting, then perhaps that's a topic. Or if it's other topics that we come up with, that then perhaps the first one is assigned by their position. The second one is by choice, by their interest, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that would keep people more interested too. They would feel like, oh, I got to end this on, fundraising or something, as opposed, or social media, as opposed to just sitting there listening about the president or whatever.
Right.
I found last year, a lot of people complained, I guess we must have had a lot of new secretaries.
We did.
And they really
Yeah.
complained that there was nothing, they did not learn anything in the session about how to be a secretary. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
more
Fran,
talking
I heard
about
that
other
same
stuff.
thing, Fran, over and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, they were really upset that they really wanted the specifics, the secretaries, and they didn't get it.
Yeah,
So in that regard, that would lead me to want to do a full hour session just for secretaries.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in 15 minutes, we're not going to be able to tell them a whole lot, right?
No.
I would agree with that, Sue.
And
Over the years, secretaries have complained, particularly secretaries that have been in the position for years. So why should I go? It's nothing new.
right, okay. So maybe that's something I can get. Maybe I can talk with Bryce Kinder. He's going to do the Lieutenant Governor dashboard for us for Kiwanis International. Maybe he can do the secretary one, and we can record that and allow him to do that.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't
Well-
happen. That wouldn't happen at that time. But maybe that would be one we could offer during the week of district convention.
Mm.
And there's no reason why we can't have, and I think what you're saying, Sue, there is good with having a separate secretary training specific to them,
Right.
particularly for new ones. But even if we're doing it within the context of this larger training that we do breakouts in, there could be the option for a session for new secretaries as opposed to secretaries who've been in their position for a while, and they may go into some other room during that time.
Right. That's right.
Well, okay, that brings up, does if somebody's attending CLE, does everything we want to give them have to be on one day or one particular week? Can you now say, all right, this part of it is secretaries, but if you're a newer secretary or you want more, come this next week, because we're going to focus in on this versus the ones that have been around longer. Here's some more, in the weeds type of stuff or things like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was saying too, Greg, that the secretaries could have a session that's specific to them at a time specific to them.
Yeah, we could schedule that, and we could do it, the week after or 2 weeks after or whenever. And once we do them, we can record them, so then they could go back and look at it, continuously. If they wanted to watch it 10 times, they could.
How much is the KI doing? Is there going to be a real specific on secretaries?
My gut tells me no, because they have 75 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's planning on showing them.
They do the dashboard. And
Dashboard.
I don't know that. Because she's got to keep it so high level.
Submitting dues.
Pardon?
I said probably submitting members and dues so they can get their dues.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's one I'm gonna sit. I got to figure out how to sit in on one of those next week for secretary.
Yeah.
That's one thing we really don't. We don't really know what's going to happen. But I just was talking with her yesterday. It's going to be very high level, because she's got to be able to represent Kiwanis International for every district. So if someone says, well, hey, how much are my district dues? She's not going to be able to say, well, Michigan's are this, Ohio's are this, all that stuff.
One of the things I might suggest in how we approach this is you've got the positions that we're going to talk about, but then the other thing would be, what are the topics that people will take back to their clubs to help them become a stronger club? And if we approach it that way, what are the 3 or 4 most important things that a club's going to do to help them grow, become stronger, be more cohesive, better, whatever that is. And that, because that we could now then push that. If that's the goal, we can push topics up against that particular goal to see if it fits, whether we do it or not.
So what would you say those are? Membership we got, Larry.
Well, I would add in creating, communication in the terms of creating Kiwanis awareness in the community, becoming more well known. Get networking, get your message out.
Building the brand.
Building the brand.
Okay.
And if you have new presidents, you may want to do something on how to do service projects, or how to come up with service projects that they need to do.
The other thing I would add is that okay, you got a new member. Orientation. What are you doing to keep that person? What are you doing to keep them engaged so they don't leave after 6 months or when the next renewal period?
I think a lot of clubs fail on that. They get a new member, and then a couple of weeks later, they don't even tell them anything.
Right.
Mentoring.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not mentoring them.
Mentoring and empowering.
Yeah.
I think depending on what Kiwanis International does, we should include something about partnerships, just because if the president or the other board members don't know about the importance of the project, the members are never going to know. So just, again, it might be redundant for some people that already know about it, but I think you also have to assume some people who attend, it could be a new club that just started, or an officer that isn't completely ready. So just kind of starting with the basics.
Okay.
And maybe adding on to that, like, not communicating, but working with the SLPs a little bit more. Because that's how we're getting more members, the younger members and stuff like that, is the SLPs.
Or to broaden out Emily's point, is just resources in general. As a club, what resources are there to help you become better so you don't have to do it all yourself?
Yeah, I think we need to teach them how to work with each other, not different clubs, but their own club members. Because my secretary, the new secretary, she just got thrown when she had to put how much money we spent on this and how much money. She had no idea. So she needed to go to the treasurer to talk with the treasurer. So they've got to realize that there is a little bit of that. And I can see why a lot of clubs do secretary treasurer then, because you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And just from my point, like coming from smaller clubs, like a long time ago, I attended like a session, and I felt like it was really like aiming towards the bigger clubs, like stuff my little Manchester club couldn't do. So like I want to make sure, like, I don't know the ratio of big clubs, small clubs in Michigan, but like make sure we're like also helping the small clubs because they matter too, type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, you pick up on that, particularly for newer clubs. And some of you know, I'm also a member of the Tuscola County Club, which is brand new. They have no money. So what kind of projects can they do? That means we have to do hands-on things because we don't have money to spend.
Right.
Whereas one of the other clubs spins off over $100,000 just in minimum distribution from their foundation every year. They don't have to do anything other than spend money.
And I think the other thing that will be important is coming out of this COVID, coming out of this pandemic. You know,
What's your club going to look like?
Yeah.
And we have to be prepared that we might be going back into COVID, you know, just in case.
Right.
No.
I'm worried about that. I am definitely worried about that. I'm thinking
Let's take a break and all grab our masks.
Yeah.
So normally at this session, we also break out by divisions. Now,
Division caucuses.
Right, your division caucuses, and I, you know, unless we say, you know, all the clubs that would normally go to the Kalamazoo one, or all the clubs that would go to the, you know, Troy one, or whatever, you have to attend those sessions. How
many breakout sessions can you have? Can you have 20 of them?
Well, yeah, we could, but
I mean,
that means your lieutenant governor elects have got to be on every one.
And keeping
There's
people
not
engaged
enough
to
of
that.
that. We don't have enough.
Right.
So are you talking about division caucuses?
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually have their first division council meeting at this session.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was thinking about that. I'm thinking, well, maybe we work with the lieutenant governor elects
and not do it then.
And maybe we work with them and say, okay, that we're not going to meet as divisions at that session.
I think so too. Yeah.
We're going to do them separately, and maybe by promoting, you know, that way there'd be some cross, you know, promotion with, you know, you might get someone from Division 1 and Division 20 and Division 16 in the same room.
Yeah.
You know, so there would be some more connections.
Okay, I'm gonna, okay. So if we have different sessions and so I'm lieutenant governor elect, and I have some people show up at one and some people show up at another. You know, you do that. You're not going to have you won't do the division caucus, but there's an opportunity to have a breakout, and maybe you have a little more one-on-one with some clubs, and then so now you're at all of them, and you may learn some more stuff, and you have a chance to be a little more intimate with your clubs in your division, and then at a later date you can get together to do your caucus.
Right.
So I don't see a downside of having lieutenant governors attend more than one of these.
Are we going to still have 3 separate CLE trainings, or are we going to do just one?
No, my plan was there's basically 10 or 11 of us, okay?
Yeah.
There's no reason we can't do one and I'm just going to throw out times, there's nothing written in stone, but you know, there's no reason we couldn't do one at 9:30 to 11. You know, can we do one from 2:30 to 4? Can we do one from, you know, 6 to 7:30? I mean, do them throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can do, I mean, depending on what everybody's schedules are, you know, we could do, so we did 6 or 7 of them during a week. I mean, the thing is, since we're going to make them sign up for them, we would know that, okay, let's say that the session on Saturday, there's no one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we offer them during different times of the day, or maybe one of them's from 11:30 to 1 during lunch.
Are we going to try to have a certain amount of people though? What if we only have 5 sign up for one?
Well, that's what we'd have to, we could determine that based on sessions.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we could start out with a smaller number, and then, you know, if it looks like we're not catching enough people, we just, I would rather, even though we can record them, I'd rather do those sessions live and then keep recording for other people.
I just think this allows us a lot more flexibility. I mean, in the past they had one shot to go unless they drove a longer distance, and now we can give them multiple shots to attend.
Yeah, I actually think, obviously, depending on how it goes and how we all feel about it, I think this is a good direction because, like I said, I've been president now for 2 years, and I have to be honest, I haven't attended the trainings just because the dates didn't work out for me. So if it had been online, it would have been a lot easier. So I think hopefully we can get more people because it's just an hour and whatever minutes. And then hopefully, you know, we can make sure that people know we want all levels, whatever, and that there's more to offer. That way someone who has been secretary for 10 years eventually feels like there is a, you know, importance and reason for them to attend.
And if there's people that are interested in pursuing, you know, or want to be president next year or want to come as because they're president-elect, they can come and get
Yeah.
education.
I like the membership one. I sent it to not only our membership chair in my club, but our PR chair and then our vice president for next year and a couple other people that I was like,
Right.
hey, you have ideas, might as well, you know, do what we can.
I'll give another example. Let's say that Linda Lothar's doing the presidents and Fran's doing the presidents. Well, you know, maybe somebody might want to, the different styles, different ways of saying things. They're not going to say everything word for word. So somebody may want to go to two different ones and they may hear something different. And so
That's
that
right.
gives an opportunity too.
So we would script, you know, the plan would be we'd script the basics, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But every one of us operates differently. We all, you know, have different methods for what we do. But the material would be the same. You know, the PowerPoints would be the same. And then, you know, we'd make sure the materials were together and, you know, we could very easily put together a packet, you know, of the PowerPoints and say, go to this site, you can download the PowerPoints if you want them, so they can have them. You know, we can make that kind of stuff available.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because we're not going to be able to hand out stuff.
we're not going to be able to
we're
hand it
have
out
to
to them.
go and look at it,
Right,
just like we're doing the lieutenant governor's
right.
file.
Sue, speaking of that, will you make the PowerPoint you're using tonight available to us? Could you
Yes,
send us a copy?
yes. So I am recording this entire program and I will set up a Dropbox for this team,
Okay.
for this education team. And we'll put the PowerPoints in there. And then I will continue to populate that based on what we decide. And the plan is once we determine what we're going to talk about, we'll develop those scripts for people. And I'm more of a bullet point person for a script. Some people like more word for word, but if you're going to present the one on the secretaries, we would make sure you have what you need to do that. And then the plan would be that there would be a couple people there because when you go into breakout rooms, we're going to have, you know, subject matter experts, so to say, for those breakout rooms once we determine what they are.
Thinking about what you just talked about, is the 22nd too soon
That's
to
what I was thinking.
It may be.
develop the script, to
Yeah.
schedule things, to get the word out, to get people registered?
Yep.
You know, so.
No, I was just throwing dates out. I have because I don't know what Kiwanis International is doing as far as the international convention. I have a meeting with them next week to find out what their schedule is, because that normally would be Kiwanis International Convention Week.
You know,
Larry, do you not want us to see you tonight?
Yeah, Larry, you in the dark?
I'm dark. I'm just trying to stay awake. No,
In the dark.
the thing about delaying it till July, clubs are going to start meeting in July. Well, a lot of them are, so they're going to be availability and getting people to sign up. Maybe after the holiday, may be a problem.
Yeah, once they get out and they can do things.
I guess I don't see why that would be a problem.
They finally get to get out and they're going to go to their cottages and they're going
Right.
to go.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that people are going to be doing in
vacations and
July
stuff
once
like
they get a free. I agree. I think these should be done as soon as we can do them.
We just have to work hard.
It's not like they have to drive anywhere. I mean, they can take an hour to wherever they are.
Right.
I think if anyone wants to attend, they can.
Right.
And if they
Find a way.
if they really can't, they can listen to the recording, you know.
Right.
If someone really, I'm sure if someone really messaged us, was heartbroken they couldn't attend, we could assign a separate one later for them
Right.
to attend.
Well, you know, and maybe we wait until the week of July 6th.
After the
Because
holiday.
that would be after Kiwanis International stuff.
So we could see what they're telling them.
We're gonna see what they're telling them, but I mean, we can still do the core development, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I have all the notes from the last 3 or 4 years, so we can still do all the core development.
Mhm.
And I think if we offer them, you know, not every, you know, as you think about it, not everybody's has a cottage. You know, if a lot of people are going back to work, you know, I mean, yeah, your weekends may be crazy.
Yeah. And I know myself, I've gone to California many times and sat in a room and did some kind of
Yeah.
talk or conference call, yeah. Just tell the kids they can't be there.
Some of the other districts are, and I say this because I've having talked to some of the other leadership development coordinators, they're like, so many, but they're way behind us, you know, and trying to figure out what they're doing. So I sent a note to find out who's done any other kind of sessions, but a lot of them leave it up to the lieutenant governor elects. So the lieutenant governor elects have to go train their officers. So, you know, we're taking that, you know, we do that separately, so that makes it easier.
We gave that to our lieutenant governors elect. We'd have none left.
We'd have none.
Newbies training the newbies.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, so because we're recording this, I have everybody's comments and all that stuff. We can figure out.
I said the last one then.
So maybe what I'll do is go through and kind of, you know, write down what we've all said. I've been writing notes, and then kind of throw out a few ideas for schedules, like what a session would look like.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to know from us is if we have a preference as to which one we'd like to conduct or anything like that, or do you want to wait till we develop?
I'm gonna wait at this point.
Okay.
To develop them, because I think what I want to do is kind of put them out there for everybody to look at, and go make your changes in Google document and say, no, this should go here, this should go there. You know, I think I kind of have started to outline them. I haven't written into full detail everything yet, but I've outlined them and tried to figure out how much time,
That's the thing.
you know, that you would put towards it. But having them all in Dropbox, I will make sure everybody has rights to edit, you know, and you can go in and edit, you know, and just make comments and stuff like that, so we can look at them and then just ask everybody to look at them. Because Google Docs does that as well. You know, people can go in and make changes and stuff. But, you know, we'll set down some goals of what we want to accomplish, and go from there. And, you know, if it takes us a couple more weeks, you're right, it takes us a couple more weeks.
We've got to start letting them know when they're going to do it, though.
Right. So you're right. We're going to have to develop the information for Greg to get it out to all the clubs.
Yeah.
So he can get that in all the clubs' hands by email.
Well, we can still do the announcements to the dates and the registration for it without having all the content developed at that point.
Correct. Right.
How many people are you guessing or hoping attend these?
4,000.
No. What do we usually have? About 100 at a meeting?
Yeah.
About 100 at CLE?
Greg, the eternal optimist.
Well, how many clubs do we have?
Greg, that's a different club. This is Kiwanis.
All right. We have 150 clubs.
So
if
ideally, if we could get 600 people.
Yeah.
150 times 4. Yep.
60 people. Yeah.
I mean, how cool would that be if we trained 600 people?
That'd be 3 times better than what we mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And by offering them at different times, they should be able to.
If you advertise it as different, so they don't think it's just going to be the same thing that they've done year after year.
Right.
It may get more people interested. And I think that's what we have to try to do.
Well, and I look at, you know, our Thursday night Kiwanis Let's Talk one, you know, granted that's, you know, growing over time, but there's a lot of people on there that are just, and I say members, they're not, they don't hold office, right?
Yeah.
They're coming to those sessions because it's something different. And, you know, as I start looking at them, because I mean, I just booked a couple more to get us through July. You know, people are attending those. So I think that if we can show this kind of stuff, like with that, I think we can get people to participate.
Yeah.
I think it's also helps like to promote different positions too, especially for like the newer clubs or newer people in the clubs are like, oh, I want to learn more about this position. And it's not so like only presidents can be in this meeting or whatever.
Right. And I think that's the important part is that, you know, this is open for everybody. And we may get more members that attend that even, you know.
And we can emphasize that because they will get points the club will get points if
Right,
members attend.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, because the national one was really kind of just stressed the officers.
Correct.
We did tell them, yes, other people can come, but on the whole, most of them thought it was just the main officers.
Right, right.
So we can tell them if we're doing other ones.
Okay, so those were all the questions I had on my PowerPoint. Let's see if I had any other poll questions. And that one. Oh, the one we've talked about is whether they should be office by division, both, or topics. So we've talked about that one. The other thing I thought about was, and we can talk about this, is should we, one of the things we've got to do is Greg can pull a list of everybody that's turned their election reports in. And the lieutenant governors, that's being sent out to the lieutenant governors and lieutenant governor elects, Greg?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
Okay, so, that might be something else we can help with, is calling clubs, afterwards and saying, hey, Emily, we see you guys haven't attended, training. We really want you to be there. To the point of, we can make a certificate up that if they attend the training, they can print off a certificate. I mean, there's things like that we can do that may help, get some people to attend. Or we, I was thinking, okay, you can't give away district convention registration this year, but, are there things like that we can do to help promote it along the way? So I'm thinking that we can, help.
Well, on the other hand, we have a lot of door prizes that we've
That's right.
collected that are sitting there that we have to either wait till next year or do something with them. So that's
right.
We can explore that.
Yeah.
But you're
Just
right.
getting them to the people, but by then we should be able to drive around.
Right.
Or we put them in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the only thing is Greg's got to get them back from the Flint people, because we give a bunch of them there.
That's fine. And you don't want to mail some of these things. Driving around would be fine.
Yeah.
So, what else are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts? Are we on the right page? Are we?
I definitely like the idea of like checking along the way of who's RSVP'd, like which clubs, especially if a club hasn't had anyone attend, because as we know, clubs, dissolve. So I think it would definitely be a sign if nobody from the club attended at all. Somewhere the communication's not happening with whatever. Maybe they didn't even report their officers and their leadership didn't even send it on.
Right.
So at that point, like someone taking ownership of, okay, call these couple people or just send them a specific email to kind of find out what's going on. If you don't get in charge of one person from the club, call someone else or whatever. Just
Isn't
like
that the lieutenant governor's job?
Well, it is, except we're missing 8 lieutenant governors for next year so far.
Well, I mean,
So we have to.
And it could be the lieutenant governor's job, but we would just have to get them the info of who's signed up.
Yeah,
But like I said, there's a lot of positions that don't have lieutenant governors, a lot of divisions. We're training the ones we have, but we have about 8 of them that aren't filled.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, isn't there a report that gets sent out, I don't know when, that shows for the last 5 years of who's attended, what clubs have attended what?
Yes.
I don't know when that's generated, but that might be something that the lieutenant governor.
Whenever Kathy wanted to generate it. I mean, I have the last printed copy of it, which she did, I think, maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah,
it's pretty current.
I think I have a copy of it too, Greg. I just need to go through my files.
Yeah. Because that's something you can use as a basis to see clubs that haven't attended in the last 2 or 3 years. They're the ones we need to talk to.
And sometimes someone else calling from Michigan District of Kiwanis might get a response.
Right.
Then oh, my lieutenant governor called.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are going around and giving them their awards. We can also ask them, "Are you coming to CLE?"
Right.
Well, we're get that question done too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because we are doing that.
So the goal would be to do the registration online.
Mhm.
And at that time we can collect all the data we want, right? We can collect name, address, email, all that type of stuff, which will help in just in record keeping. So we can collect all that, and then that way we can always set it up so that that we're sending an email. So let's say that the 9 of us are going to a session, we can send an email out a couple days before and say, hey, don't forget. So we could send an email as well to remind them to come to the session. And then after the session's over, we can send them an email and say, hey, thanks for coming. These are the next sessions that are coming up.
Well, the other thing that's happening is the lieutenant governor, when I take that back, there are district people, Fran, Larry, myself, Denny Shumway, and probably Sarah are delivering the awards from this year's spring divisional to clubs in person, and the goal is to have it delivered by the end of the month. So there's an opportunity to tell the clubs about this
Right.
what's going on for that.
Okay.
The end of this month, Greg?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
He's only got us all doing about 40 clubs.
Larry's supposed to visit you, so if he doesn't, Bruce, let me know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So plenty of opportunities for us to get the information out. We can put it on our Facebook page. What'll happen is we'll get other districts that'll be like, hey, can I come to your training? Sure. For a registration fee of $15. No, just kidding.
Whatever gets us better people there.
That's
No,
exactly right.
We need that non-dues revenue, Sue.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we have an education Facebook page, right?
We cut it out.
We do not, right,
We cut it out because we wanted everything up on one page.
right. We wanted everybody receiving all the information, so we moved it all to one district page.
You mean the Michigan district?
Yep.
Well, you can't, but there's only certain people that can post.
People don't need to post. They just can view and comment.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you can't post. There's only 3 or 4 people in the district that are
Right,
allowed
but
to.
you can comment. Like,
You can
I
comment.
don't have to post. I can just see what.
You can comment a post, but if you wanted to put a post out about CLE, it has to be approved by Sarah.
Well, then we'll send it to Sarah.
No, I post events all the time.
There's a few of you.
Yeah. Because I just posted the latest Kiwanis.
I'm sure Barb Duran does it too. She can.
Right.
That's one of the complaints I get, is that we can't put anything out on the Michigan District Facebook page, where we used to have a family one that everybody could post to.
Yeah, because it was a group, but.
Now it's a limited.
Larry, that makes sense, because if it's representing the Michigan district, we don't want, we were getting people's personal stuff. They were making individual comments, and that just was not representative of what we wanted for the district page.
Well, that may be true, but you're limiting what the clubs can talk about that they're doing.
Well, I think people just need to send it to those in district leadership and say, hey, here's my flyer.
Doesn't happen.
Have they tried? I mean,
They have to learn.
Yeah. But that
That's a
could be
big complaint from the clubs.
That's a good session.
Yeah, that's a big complaint, because they think there's only 2 or 3 people that are controlling what can be done.
Yeah, there's a group.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's out who the group is.
Right.
To the
right.
regular club members.
Right.
So they would know to send it to somebody.
Yep. Well, and that may be a
don't.
post we make. Hey,
Yeah.
you got something you want posted on here? Send it to.
Yeah, and put a name.
Put a name.
If we
and
ever
post.
got people in our marketing committee, we have.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Are y'all still with me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you're
I'm
on
all in, but I'm concerned that we're gonna have a lot of work to do in the next 2.5 weeks.
Well, and if we have to push it out a couple weeks, we push it out.
Okay, yeah, it's better to do it right than to just
That's right.
to get it done. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Like you say, when we watch the KI one, we may think of something else
right.
we want to.
Right.
put in
Yes,
there.
Fran, for sure.
So we can start, I mean, we can start,
Yeah,
I'll
I can
pull
start
this
my
together
goals.
once I get the Dropbox together. Do you guys prefer Dropbox or Google Drives?
Dropbox.
Okay.
I don't care.
You-
Do we
I'll
a
have to get my grandson involved in either of that.
Yeah. I
I'm
can do,
getting to this point where somebody's got to teach me how to keep all these different Zoom meetings in the right place so I know where I'm going at the right time. I made myself a word processing one and just put everybody's in
Yep.
there so I could click on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But then in the Dropbox, I have a one that just so I can go on to it.
So Greg, do we have a Michigan District of Kiwanis YouTube channel?
No.
Okay. Do we have a,
Or let me put it this way. If we do, I'm not aware of it.
okay. Because I've been
Barb-
posting all my, I've been posting all
They
the,
know.
okay, I've been posting all the Lieutenant Governor and the Kiwanis Let's Talk on my YouTube channel. So
Right.
I'll check with Barb.
Yeah, the district should have one.
Yeah.
For
And I
sure.
don't know, I'm gonna ask some of you guys, is YouTube the way to go, or do we need to go to Vimeo or one of those things?
Got me on that.
YouTube fine.
YouTube's fine,
Yeah,
okay,
YouTube works.
okay. Because then we can put these sessions up there,
Yeah.
you know, and people can go out and look at them. Because I can transfer all the ones I've got on there to the Michigan District if we don't have one.
How much space do you have that you're storing all this stuff on?
Well, YouTube's very
Yeah,
open.
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah.
the cloud.
It's the cloud.
Yeah, she's got a huge cloud.
A huge cloud. You don't see it out there?
Just go to YouTube and you can sort it by whatever,
Yeah.
bring up what you want.
Yeah. I mean, I put Kiwanis in all of them, so I'm sure if you say Kiwanis, you're going to get everything
Right.
that's out there. All right, what did we miss?
Guess when we're gonna meet again.
All right, so let's do this. Let me put everything that give me the weekend to put everything in the Dropbox. And our notes and stuff like that. And then put our ideas and kind of an outline for the program. By next Friday, we'll have at least seen all 4 of the sessions.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And then I know with everybody's schedule of meeting, I'll send out another survey to find out when's a good time to meet for everybody.
Can we kind of decide that tonight while everybody's
There's
here?
9 of us here.
We can.
Sure.
Where's my
I mean, Friday night's fine. It'd be nice if it was earlier. If you know,
How about you working folks? Who gets done? What time are you done at work?
Evenings are better for me, like 6:30 or after, unless we do it really early in the morning.
Okay,
That works for me, work-wise.
so like 6:30. Does 6:30 work?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or
Are
would
we
you rather
talking
have it
Friday
early-
still?
Early Saturday morning.
Yeah, Friday, I have a 4 to 6 meeting every Friday.
Okay.
Well, we're talking 6:30, Bruce.
Yeah,
You get off.
Yeah, I
No
know.
lunch, no dinner for
I
you.
like to eat too.
Yeah.
We can watch you chew.
Is everybody opposed to a Saturday morning one? Or is that,
I'm not.
That's fine.
That's fine with me.
I mean, I can get up early.
That's fine.
I just have to not watch my television stories till like 4 in the morning. So we're starting to watch that. I think it's called Hell on Wheels. It's about the railroad and being built. And I think there's 40 episodes we're in like episode 20 right now.
Okay, so
That's
what
our
if we
evening
did,
night. Okay, what?
what if we did,
Sue?
let me check one thing here. I gotta check my other schedule.
Yeah.
While she's checking, Sue Devon,
Yeah.
Sue,
is there any clubs in the Lansing area that were doing gumball machines that you're aware of?
I think we do.
East Lansing does.
Yeah.
Because I got a call and I picked one up from a place that doesn't want them anymore, and I can't identify which club it is. So
Where did you get it from?
ASAP Printing on Keystone
Okay.
near Pennsylvania.
That's probably ours. It's probably Lansing's.
Yeah, it's probably Lansing's.
Well, they called the Lansing Club. She called the Lansing Club and they said, nope, no knowledge of it. So,
Sue Peterson,
Yes.
I may have a limitation for Friday night, Saturday. We had a death in the family, and that's going to be when arrangements are being taken care of. So I'm not sure of my timing yet right now, but I'll jump in where I can.
Yeah, and I know people are gonna miss meetings, so I'm not worried about that. Let me find out what I signed up for.
I have absolutely nothing on Saturday next week on the 13th.
No, I signed up for the Michigan, the Kiwanis International CLEs to help moderate. I just got to figure out which ones I did here.
well, what about Friday night at 7 p.m.?
Practicing.
Well, I was thinking of Bruce.
Well, that gives him an hour to eat
Yeah.
instead of 30 minutes.
All right, so Friday, June 12th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, that works for me.
That works.
All right.
Okay.
Bad we
Send
have
it
no,
out.
but this is our life on a Saturday night. And look at, you got a couple of young girls here. You really have a social life, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, so Friday, June 12th at 7 p.m. I'll send you another Zoom update.
Invite, perfect.
Invite. And we'll see what we get. By next Friday, we'll have been through all the sessions, so we'll have some feedback on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll set up a Dropbox. And start
Sue,
talking.
have you worked a lot between Dropbox and Google? Do you have a preference? Apparently,
that.
Dropbox.
We have found that Google's hard for some people. That Dropbox is open to any email address. If
Okay,
you don't have a Google address or email, you can't get in. It's harder to get
Right.
in.
right.
So,
Okay,
and we have some people that have Yahoo addresses and stuff like that. So I'll Dropbox is fine. I'll just have another Dropbox.
that's fine.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Good weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.